I found my husband's second phone on a Tuesday afternoon. It was taped to the back of his nightstand drawer. Not hidden in a pocket. Not buried in a bag. Taped. With electrical tape. Like he had thought about it. Like he had planned for it to stay hidden for a very long time. I almost didn't find it. I was looking for a pen. Stay with me. Because what was on that phone I still can't fully describe. And what I did next changed everything. This is part 1. Hey everyone, welcome back to Verdict Stories. New story every single day. Subscribe if you haven't already because part 2 drops tomorrow and you will not want to miss it. Today's story is about 9 years of marriage, one Tuesday afternoon, and a phone taped to the back of a drawer. Let's get into it. My name is Rachel. I'm 41 years old. I was married to my husband David for 9 years. We met when I was 30, when he was 32, at a work event neither of us wanted to attend. He made me laugh twice in the first 10 minutes. I thought, this one is different. He was different. For a long time, he was exactly what I thought he was. We built a life together that I was genuinely proud of. A home. A dog named Oliver. A shared routine that felt comfortable in the way only long relationships do. Not exciting exactly, but solid. Real. When my father was sick 2 years ago, David drove 4 hours every weekend for 3 months to visit with us. When I lost a job I had left, he made dinner every night for 6 weeks without being asked. I trusted him the way you trust the ground. You don't think about it. You just walk. On the Tuesday I found the phone. I had stayed home from work with a headache. David was at the office. I was lying in bed and I needed something to write down a thought, one of those half-awake thoughts that feels important, and I reached into the nightstand drawer for a pen. The drawer stuck. It always stuck. I pulled harder and it came all the way out and I had to reattach it, and that's when I saw it. Taped to the back of the drawer with black electrical tape. A phone. Small. Older model, the kind that costs almost nothing. I stood in my bedroom for a long time holding that drawer. Then I sat down on the floor. The phone wasn't password protected. I don't know if that was carelessness or if he thought the hiding place was enough. I turned it on. It charged. Whoever had been using it had charged it recently. I want to be careful here about what I tell you. Not because I'm protecting David, I'm not. But because some of what I read on that phone is not something I want to put into words even now, a year later. What I can tell you is this. There were messages. Hundreds of them. Going back 14 months. With a woman whose name I didn't recognize, a name I had never heard David mention in 9 years of knowing him. Her name was Claire. The messages were intimate. Not just physically. That was there, yes. But what was worse, what was somehow more painful than the physical parts, was how they talked to each other. Casually. Warmly. Like people who knew each other deeply. There were messages about her day, his day, things that annoyed him, things that made him laugh. There were messages where he talked about our life, our home, our dog, our routine in a way that made me feel like I was a background character in a story he was telling someone else. There was one message where she asked him if he was happy. He said, getting there. Getting there. 9 years. And he was getting there. I sat on the bedroom floor for 2 hours. Oliver came and put his head in my lap and I held on to him and I didn't cry, not yet. I think I was too far inside the shock to cry. At some point I stood up. I put the phone in my bag. I made a cup of tea I didn't drink. I called my sister and said 5 words. I need you to come. She was there within 40 minutes. She sat at my kitchen table and I put the phone in front of her without saying anything. She picked it up. She read for a few minutes. She put it down. She said, how long? I said, 14 months that I can see. She said, what do you want to do? And here is where part 1 ends. Because what I decided to do and how I did it and what happened when David came home that evening, that's a story that deserves its own telling. Part 2 is already up. Link in the description. And I promise you it does not end the way you think. Before you go, drop your verdict in the comments. Just from what you know so far, what would you have done in that moment? Would you have confronted him immediately? Waited? Left before he came home? Tell me. I read every single comment. And if you're new here, subscribe. Part 2 is up now. New story every day. See you there.